wall filled with gum, and it's really disgusting.
Tonight on Ghost Tourist.
Hi, this is Scott.
And I'm Cindy, and
we're Ghost Tourists.
When we travel, we visit haunted locations.
So we can tell you if they're spooky or dooky. So we went on a ghost tour in Old Town, Seattle.
Yes.
And the place that they met us was the office of Dr. Linda Hazard.
Linda Hazard is her name.
Which, in and of itself, should have been a warning.
So don't let the name fool you. She wasn't actually a doctor. As long as you published several papers on a specialty you knew, you could claim to be a doctor.
So she called herself a fasting specialist.
Okay.
And so they said, okay, you can call yourself a doctor.
Fasting?
Mm-hmm. So she put everybody on diets with like a little cup of vegetable broth each day, lots of enemas, and massages that sound like they were more like beatings.
So she tortured them, basically.
Basically, two sisters who came here for treatment, Claire and Dorothea, were starved until they were 70 pounds each. And by the time their family got to them, Claire was dead and looked so awful that Dr. Hazard swapped out her body for another one from the local Butterworth's mortuary.
Jinkies!
Because she didn't want people to see how emaciated the body was. At this point, her sister Dora weighed about 50 pounds.
Oh my God.
And couldn't sit because her tailbones...
Oh, she was still alive.
She was still alive.
Zoinks!
And didn't want to leave. She thought, oh, this is working. Somehow.
Because clearly something was amiss.
Some suggest that Dr. Hazard's interest in spiritualism and the occult had given her the ability to hypnotize people into starving themselves to death. That sounds stupid.
But is it haunted?
Yeah, it's supposed to be haunted. So if you see really skinny ghosts, those are the people she was starving.
Late at night, you might feel like something is watching you. This feeling of despair and desperation just drips over you. And there are multiple ghosts that love to wander the hallways.
Ruh-roh.
But it's not just the horrors of Linda Hazard that makes this place haunted. There's also a brothel during the heyday of Prohibition.
Because these places were always brothels.
Yes.
We're going to go on to our next spot where I'm going to talk about some of the darkest parts of American history.
So we went to Post Alley, and there's this gross gum mall.
Oh, yeah.
There's this a wall filled with gum, and it's really disgusting.
It's not new gum. It's chewed gum.
It's like years and years and years and years of gum. Disgusting.
And are there haunted gum?
They're supposedly on this alleyway filled with gum. There's ghosts.
Oh.
So one of the ghosts is Frank. Who's an elderly and tall ghost who greets people by name outside of the bathroom.
Why are they always in the
So,
bathroom?
as you're walking in the bathroom, he'll say, "Hey, Scott. Hey, Cindy." And then he disappears.
Like a piece of gum, governor. I don't know why.
Have yourself a treat as you walk into the restroom.
Nice of him. That's nice of him. But most people don't think it's the gum itself that makes it haunted. It's the bricks underneath the gum.
Because all this cobblestone was donated from San Francisco. Where did they get the raw material, you may ask? It came from the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, one of the most deadliest earthquakes that hit the continental U.S.
So not Hawaii, but people who have investigated.
and found EMF hotspots all across these alleys. But this spot in particular is special because of the Market Theater. There's one ghost in here that likes to play the piano once in a while. He's not Mozart, but he's trying. And there's also a couple ghosts that love to argue in the sound booth.
There's also a little coffee shop outside, right outside of the gum wall. It's called the Ghost Alley Espresso. And there's a ghost that's named Arthur Goodwin.
Oh.
And he is one of the Pike's Place Market first manager.
Oh, so he worked there.
Yeah. So Ghost Alley Espresso and the gum wall is a part of Pike's Place Market.
What else can you tell me about Pike's Place Market, Cindy?
I didn't know I had to read that part too.
Yeah.
So Pike's Place Market was built on a farmer Indian burial ground.
Oh, no.
We never want to
Don't
do that. Never want to do that. The Indian daughter of the chief of the Duwamish tribe, Princess Angeline, lived there where Pike's Place Market is until 1855, when her entire tribe was ordered to leave, but she refused.
Simply saying, this is my home. I will not leave.
Since her death, people see her wandering aimlessly around the market.
Well, she's probably looking for her home.
Poor Princess Angeline. I'm not disrespecting you in any way, Princess Angeline, because that's horrible. So, yeah, it's haunted too. So, next we went to the Moore Theater,
Now, the Moore Theater in Hotel is very special.
which was built in 1907, and supposedly it was also built over Seattle's oldest cemetery.
That seems like a bad...
Yeah. place-
Anytime that's a bad thing to do.
They also say that they get the most EVPs from in the basement,
Sure.
and that they've seen many famous apparitions in the theater. Sarah Bernhardt,
Okay.
Marie Dressler,
Oh.
and some early 20th century Barrymores.
Like Drew?
Not Drew,
Oh.
because she's still alive.
Yeah, she
But
can't
maybe Drew's parents,
Or grandparents?
grandparents. They also hear heavy breathing and footsteps,
Sure.
and they see orbs, and they feel presences.
So like every other place we've talked about.
Not presence,
Oh,
but presences.
presences. A whole bunch of presents.
Yes, temperature drops and strange visions and noises in the seating areas.
Okay.
And they also say that if you leave your keys and your phones and pens and things unattended,
Yeah.
they will be moved and found in places that you didn't leave them.
So it sounds like people are just forgetful. So another place we saw was the Emma Taylor Building.
Her name is Emma Taylor, and she was the first police matron of Seattle. When she lived there during the low rent income days, she was not in charge of arresting people.
She helped what they called unfortunate women. Emma Taylor believed that the sick, poor, and demented demand our special regard, solicitude, and sympathy. We must overlook the abuse of the rum-crazed and pity their condition.
So women were also rum crazed.
That, yes, now it supposedly has ghosts of Emma and of the women who stayed there.
The rum crazed women.
The unfortunate broads.
Be on the lookout for drunken, jailed women. So there's a place called the Can Can Cabaret
That's a lot of alliteration.
in Seattle, and it's supposedly haunted.
Really?
And it is said that there was once a bartender who blew out candles that were lit in the cabaret
Okay.
and stepped outside, and when he came back, the candles were relit.
So the ghosts lights candles.
Yes, And there's also a neighbor that says that his daughter befriended a ghost boy that's supposedly at the venue.
Neither of those are particularly compelling or interesting. No, in no way, shape, or
It's a good
form.
thing we just walked by this place.
There's a lot of these ghost tours that are basically crime tours. They talk about crimes that happened and bad things that happened, and maybe they'll say, and now there's a ghost at the place.
Yeah, we don't like the crime tours. We want them to be about ghosts.
History lesson, that's not
We
what
want to
we're
know about so-and-so seeing so-and-so or feeling such and such or thinking such and such.
specifically that.
Yeah.